Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 51 of The Cosmic Force. And on tonight's episode, it is another one of our favorites. It is an artist spotlight. And tonight, we are featuring the art of the one and only Ario Anindito, the creator, one of the lead artists of the High Republic. So it's going to be a fun show. If you have been paying attention to the High Republic, it's going to be a great show tonight. So let's go ahead and say hi to the rest of the team here, and we will start where we always do. Emma, how are we doing tonight? We are getting close to the end of your semester, right?
Yes, that's true. Hey, everybody. Yeah, just trying to hang in there at this point. It's been rough, that's for sure. I'm counting down the days, but the nice thing is that the end of my semester pretty much lines up with exactly 2 weeks until I leave for celebration. So that's a good thing to look forward to.
One more reason to
push
party
me through the finish line.
One more reason to party in Anaheim, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna have a blast knowing that the semester's done and I don't have to take any more chemistry classes.
Oh wait, I guess it's a big deal. I as a journalism major, I haven't taken a science class since middle school. So
it is such a grade tanker. Organic chemistry, highly do not recommend.
All right, let's go ahead and say hello to Caleb. Caleb, how are we doing tonight? Do we what tie do we have on tonight?
This one is the Millennium Falcon blueprints here.
Nice one.
Nice.
A good solid gold here. Because we're going to deal with some bright, shiny golden era of the Jedi. I figured we should play it up a little bit here. I guess I'm kind of in the same page as all of you guys. Like, for the first time in a long time, I texted my wife earlier this afternoon. It's like, you know what? I could do with a vacation here pretty soon. Not immediately, but here pretty soon. That'd be nice.
Well, luckily we seem to be in a lull from a comics news perspective. So if you're looking to take one now, then there isn't, you're not going to be missing too much on the show here.
Exactly.
All right, we are and our last host tonight, Jacob. Again, you're also getting close to the end of your semester, right?
Yeah, actually, today was my last day of class. So,
wow.
Yeah, so
Lucky.
it is my it's lucky that classes are over. I don't have to do any more new readings. But exams start on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
So that's not fun. And last semester they structure so you have 5 to 6 days of nothing because they kind of bunch in Thanksgiving break before you take your first exam, and then it's one exam per week for 3 weeks. And this semester it's 2 exams per week for 2 weeks. And you don't get that big gap on the front end. So it's, yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. I take solace in the fact that, I think I might have said it last week, but law school makes it hard for you to fail out. So that's great. I'll still be here next semester, just on the graces of the system. So we love that.
And then you get a nice little. How long of a break do you get before you are flying across the world?
4 days.
Oh my goodness!
Oh.
And I have to move my apartment out in that time. So
hold on. So in the next month, you are taking finals.
Yep.
You're packing up your apartment.
Yep.
Moving your apartment to storage
unit.
or new apartment?
Yep.
To storage. Figuring out what to pack into storage and what to take with you across the world, and then taking care of, and then moving yourself across the world.
Yeah. So yeah. Fun fact on top of that, I also there's a giant career fair at the end of this summer that I have to participate in, and also during the month of April, I have to write 30 odd cover letters for all these job postings.
Oh.
So that's due in a week. So that's fun.
That just doesn't sound
very
nice.
Yeah. No, it does not.
Talk about cramming in some stuff.
Life finds a way. Wrong franchise, but
let's go ahead and distract you guys for the next 45 minutes or so and talk about some Star Wars comics. So if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. We are actually a Star Wars comics podcast that we broadcast live right here on youtube.com/utini every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. But if you can't join us live, that is perfectly fine because we are also available on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. We are also a part of the Utini podcast network of shows and a Discord channel at utini.com/Discord with more than 1,000 members with dozens of channels of conversations to choose from. If you like what you see and you want to say thank you, then head on over to Wow, I'm all over the place tonight. Then head over to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/Utini, where for as little as $5 a month, you can gain exclusive access to the entire Utini podcast network of shows, as well as exclusive merch and community involvement activities. And then now, before I stumble over even more of my words, I'm going to turn it over to Emma, who is going to say something about our new patrons this week.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a couple of new patrons. We have a familiar name here. Earl Q is now on the Jedi High Council. And we also have Ziggy, who's now a monthly patron. Thank you both so much. Your support means everything and allows us to do all sorts of cool things, including some really awesome celebration stuff. And if you're going to be at Celebration, you're going to want to stop by. I saw some cool things in the channel, some things to give away. It's all starting to come together. So you're going to want to stop by if you're at Celebration to, get some swag. So thank you all.
Yeah, I don't know if we've announced yet, but I have seen that booth numbers are starting to come out and panel schedules are starting to come out. So lots of information is coming out about Celebration in general. So it's going to be an exciting time, and yeah, we highly encourage you to come by and say hi to us at wherever we are.
Absolutely.
So,
and if you want more information on Celebration, last week, or I guess it was
this week, yeah.
this week.
This week, yeah.
Time, you guys.
That was
week,
only 2 days ago.
It feels like a lifetime ago, but okay, whatever you guys say.
Mhm.
The Living Force did an episode on how to prepare for Celebration, kind of from the perspective of Corey, who's been to a Celebration, and Eric and Wes, who are going to a Celebration but haven't been to one before, and also got some input from members of our team who have been to Celebration before. There were some really awesome tips in there. For me personally, I've never even been to any con whatsoever, so I found a lot of those tips really helpful, and it got the juices flowing. I'm like really stoked. I mean, not that I wasn't before, but now it's starting to feel real. I mean, we're almost a month away. Like by the time we're talking to you guys next week, it'll be less than a month. Like that is wild.
They finally inspired me to purchase my plane tickets. I purchased my plane tickets as I was listening to the show on Monday.
Do you realize how much OCD that was causing me, Tyler? Because I was worried there for a second.
I'm now, it's my fault. Instead of catching the red eye, I'm now staying an extra night and flying out early Sunday morning, but that's my fault.
I mean,
so,
it could be worse. My international flight to Vietnam was booked like 3 days ago, and it's in like 2 weeks. So
Oh god.
Yeah,
Jacob,
you want talking travel anxiety?
Yeah,
there you go.
That's a lot. So
my heart just increased rate very rapidly. Oh goodness.
All right, it is a extremely slow week this week. We don't have any comics news, nothing major. We don't have a pull list because there's just nothing out right now. There
Not
are
even bounty hunters.
Not even bounty hunters. Yeah, that's a 2-week break from bounty hunters.
Wow.
There are a couple of reprints, Jacob. I think we got High Republic 15. Is 15? Did that come out?
I think so.
Today?
Yeah, I think it's that one with like the big like Avar panel as the cover.
Yes.
And I don't know the other one off the top of my head, to be honest. I would guess maybe a Crimson Reign, or no, is it Han Solo? I think
maybe
Han
that
Solo
sounds about
1.
right. I think Han Solo was getting a reprint.
But yeah, we got a whole lot of nothing today. So
yeah, it's again, we've said this before. It seems like we're in this lull before Celebration, before Star Wars Day on May 4th, that there's a lot of just treading water and nothing new happening, which gives you time to kind of get caught up on things and maybe pick up on some of your backlog. So take that time. Don't just completely ignore comics. Take the time to read everything in your backlog. So
I mean, by the time we reach May 4th, it's we're gonna be spending like a solid 30 minutes on just the weekly pull list.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
Which will be fun.
It's going to be a lot.
There are a few
May 4th
things.
is always fun, and I believe May 4th is a Wednesday too this year. So
I believe that's correct. Yeah, because that's the day that the Obi-Wan comic comes out.
Oh,
yes.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, a few things. Even though there are no new comics coming out physically, there are a few new comics on Marvel Unlimited. We can point that out this week. That's they might not be out today. I think they're kind of weird with like what day of the week they go up. But Eye of the Storm #1 is coming to Marvel Unlimited for the first time. As well as
great book.
Star Wars 20, which even if you're not reading Star Wars, especially if you're a High Republic fan, I would recommend you reading that. It's completely self-contained. One of my, I think I can't remember. Oh, it was our anniversary
think you
episode.
said.
I was like, yeah, it was like my favorite comic book of the past like calendar year, or not calendar year, but year since we had started. So definitely
Fiscal
check
year.
those. Fiscal year, show year, content year, whatever.
Exactly.
All right. Well, just because we haven't had any new comics doesn't mean all of us have stopped reading. Emma and Jacob, have you been reading anything besides textbooks and other things related to your schooling?
Ashamedly not. I wish I could say I did, but I have been doing a lot of Utini planning. Like,
Yeah.
You
just
have
just a quick tease for everybody. Like, we've got some stuff in the works. It's gonna be cool. Not only for celebration, but just a few new writing pieces. We're also gonna be working on updating some stuff, and it's all coming together as
Did I see
as
the
meme
planning
says.
calendar dates as far out as September?
Yes, it
today?
goes all the
think
way
so,
through the
yeah.
end of September. Yep.
Yeah. So Emma has
I have been a busy gal.
very busy working on our future content. So yeah, so keep up with utini.com for all of those pieces of information, and we'll be sharing those as they come out. Kayla, what about you? Anything that you're reading?
Yes, actually. Not to put any more pressure on Jacob here, but I've started book 2 of Alphabet Squadron, Shadowfall. I read the first novel. I must have been like 2 years ago, back when I finally decided to get involved with Utini here. And the second one's pretty good too. I said a lot of high flying adventure. Some of the more nuanced character details, I'm like, wait, did that actually happen last book? I don't remember. It's been a
Yeah.
while. There's a lot of Star Wars between when I read that and where I am now, namely High Republic. So blame that. But yeah, it's good. I'm like 5 chapters into it. So can't really say too much other than pretty good.
That's good. Yeah.
It does
actually
make me-
found that
Oh, go ahead.
I found that those books actually they get better. I mean, I thought the first one was solid, but I found that they got better and better as you go along. So I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on the
you
entire
just-
book
you-
and the next one too.
You have to take your time with those. Those are dense, heavy
Heavy.
readers that you're not gonna go through the entire book in a week.
I also recommend taking your time on Alphabet Squadron.
I will say one thing. It does make me want to go back and replay Star Wars Squadrons again, because I'm like,
Yes.
crap,
Yes.
like
Yes.
they're making some references. I'm not sure yet. Like we'll see.
Yeah.
Justin in the chat is channeling his inner Andrew, and he says that he's the biggest Alphabet Squadron stan because Andrew
Ooh.
on our team is also a big Alphabet Squadron
You
fan.
guys got to
so-
have a fight over the title.
Yes. I've read the first 2. The last one is sitting on my to be read desk over there, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. But I have a feeling I will get to it before Jacob does.
Probably, yes.
So Jacob,
I love this ongoing joke. I hope it lives forever.
I realized that I skipped over you.
Oh no, it's see, I needed one of you to go first because I need to get up to grab something. So that's fine. But I do have things, not things that I've read, but things I am going to read. So you can't really tell, but you can kind of see on YouTube. These shelves are much emptier than they normally are, with like the like couple inches you can see. I've begun my packing because my last final's on Friday, and then I'm trying to be in a storage unit on Saturday. So got to do a little bit at a time, and I packed away a lot of my books. But I thought about what books I would want to bring with me this summer. So I got a little feedback in Slack. But I've picked my books I'm going to take with me for Vietnam, and then also like I'll have like Marvel Unlimited as well. So I'll get some comics in there, but I picked 3 books to take with me for the summer.
Did we change your mind, or did we just
I don't think so.
affirm that
No.
you picked the right books?
I think mostly affirmed. I didn't really get any others. I don't think I got I might have got like 1 or 2 suggestions. Someone made a joke suggestion, and then you said Legends, and I told you comics. So
Yes, that's right. That's right.
so my first one is Dark Disciple.
Such a
Very
good
good.
One that has been on my list for a while, and I never got around to it. I know it's amazing.
Was that the hardcover?
It is the hardcover. All these I know it's expensive now, but like I think it was like pre-pandemic or early pandemic. I was like heard good things. I'm like, well, I'll just go ahead and buy it. and it was like on Target for like regular price, and then like I
Oh, no
looked 6
way.
months later and it's like, oh, this is a $40 book. I'm like, really? And, like, it wasn't like I didn't buy this when it came out. It was well after the fact, but anyways. The next is Ronin. I had started this. I basically, when it came out, I basically got through where the Visions episode ends and then kind of stopped. Just with, life.
That one
And
is also a very dense and heavy one.
I have heard.
With your track record, I wonder how
Yeah.
it's gonna go, but I'm
Well,
interested
just
to hear
wait.
about it though.
I think what happened with that one is I think this one came out before Lesser Evil, and like
Right.
Right around the same, like a week early.
it was
earlier.
like they were very close together, and I tried, and I'm like, okay, well then like Thrawn Ascendancy is my love, so it just kind of hit the back burner for a little while, and by a little while I mean I guess now like 6 months. And then the most back burner book I've ever had is Alphabet Squadron,
Oh my God.
which I started reading, for those who don't know. I think I want to say like March 2020 ish. So like basically all of COVID, all of quarantine, so many people read so many books.
It's like over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think that's about when I read it, all the way through.
And like the crazy thing is like, they're dense and they take a lot of times, which is why I was making jokes earlier. But like I was thinking about this last time, like I should probably restart. I was like a third or half of the way into the book, but I should probably restart.
I would agree.
But then I thought about it, I'm like, I can remember like almost every story beat. So
That's
like,
why
I mean,
you
it's
skim through it.
It's had like a lasting impact on me, even though I haven't finished it. Although I do think I shook it out the other week and lost my bookmark, so I might have to start over, not out of choice but out of necessity. But it's fine. So that is my
I gotta say, like,
book list to take
it's
with
possible. It's possible that maybe the time in which you're reading it kind of affected that, because a heavy emotional book like that is
That's a
probably not
very
the
good
easiest
point.
to read during the very start of a pandemic, when you're
Yeah.
not sure if
See,
you're like gonna die.
I will say, you have a point, and a good point, but like it was really like, at least personally, I think it was more of me being lazy. Like I'd have it there and I'd look at it, I'm like, like I don't know. Like I read plenty of other books in that time period. I just didn't read this one.
Solid. That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. Well, I'm excited. You've gotta update us,
Yes.
while you're there, and because I'm interested to hear the report back.
But yeah,
If it's worth the wait.
Right.
That's what I really want to know, is after all this time, is it going to be worth the wait?
Yeah, I should say the one joke response I got was someone's like, "Oh, you want to take 3 books? You should just take all of Alphabet Squadron." I'm like, no.
Solid. Well, if you like it enough, you could always get it like digitally, I suppose.
I could, but I also have already purchased the books, so like I
True.
feel
You don't
I
wanna
could,
do that.
yeah. But anyways,
Well, I am also caught up on all of my canon, so I am continuing in my Legends look back focused reading. I'm now 2/3, almost more than 2/3 of the way through Mercy Kill, which is the last X-wing book in the X-wing Race Squadron book or series. And then I have this whole stack of books next to me that I'm going to read in order to beat Jared and Freddie at our little competition. So lots of time to read Legends books, and that's pretty much it, because we've had 4 comics in the past like 3 weeks, so it's been pretty easy to read those.
Do you know who is in the lead currently in this competition, or do you not talk about it with them?
I don't know. I provide them updates prior to every show. I do know that Jared was distracted with some personal stuff going on before the show last week. So he had said that he had not met, as of last week's show, he had not read any Legends books. So I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say I'm the leader. I'm winning. I'm winning this competition, being 2/3 of the way through this book. My goal is to finish the book before next week's show, so I can rub it in their faces that I finished a book and really, really apply the pressure to them to get started.
Fair.
I have to get off. I have to get off, to a very fast start, because if they can read 50 pages a night, or do as Jacob had said the night that I was on the show, where they do their old roundtable style and they read a book a week, I'm going to be in trouble because I can't do that.
you see,
So-
Yeah, it's a marathon, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm obviously rooting for you, one, because you're on our show, but two, because I think it'd be hilarious if the person that won was the only person that was not on the Legend specific podcast.
Yes, agreed.
Exactly.
Agreed.
That's good. That's good.
Like,
That,
I love
and
you,
I want
Tyler, but I also have some ulterior motives here.
Yeah.
I want no. Hey, whatever. I don't care. As long as you're cheering for me, that's what's
Yeah.
important. I don't care what the
And
ulterior
also, to be
motive is.
clear, I also love Jared and Freddie, but
Mhm.
I also want to see one of them read a Star Trek book. Like,
I'm
desperately,
cheering
so.
for me. I'm cheering for me because I want the book report from Jared about the Star Trek book. I want an in-depth book report on whatever book that Rick picks for him.
Love it. Love
So,
it.
all right, let's go ahead and go into our break. And then when we come back, we are going to talk about the artist of the High Republic, Ario Anindito. So we'll be right back.
It's the best back cover since the Star Wars Episode 1 hardcover novelization, the one with young Anakin, because on the back, just to remind y'all, is a full headshot of Watto.
It's so big. It's
I think
so
I brought
large.
this up on one of the earliest episodes of the Living
my
Force
God, yeah.
ever, and I thought I'd bring it back.
Oh my god, yeah.
Series and all of Legends. What do you guys think? Could it be the X-Wing series? Might just be the
It
most
was pretty
romance
steamy.
intensive series ever. And we're not just talking about the scene where Corran Horn describes his love affair with an otter. I mean, a Salonian that he hooked up with her and then he broke out in chives.
Yeah, not chives.
In
Not
chives.
chives.
What's it called? The bumps?
Hives, dude. Hives.
Chives
I'm so
go on your
close.
potato.
I'm hearing
Right.
you say the same thing.
Chives,
What
what
is-
you put on the under potato. No C. Hives.
Hives.
Not chives.
What'd I say?
Chives.
It's not a very common story to approach. Yeah, again, drawing the complex family tree of Django to clone identical son to clone all identical millions of sons, but they're a generation older. So then the son is kind of all Django's equal, but then Boba is a generation younger, but then that clone's son is Boba's age, but then is Boba his dad or his nephew or his uncle or his cousin? It's like
All right, we are back, and tonight, again, like I said at the top of the show, it is an artist spotlight, and we are covering the one and only Ario Anindito, who is the artist of the High Republic, but that was not his first Star Wars appearance. His first instance in Star Wars was actually the Star Wars Annual in 2015, Star Wars Annual number 4 in 2015. When he drew, I believe it was the Son of Staros story. So that was his first dive into the Star Wars, into the galaxy far, far away. And since then, he has been the primary artist for the High Republic issues 1 through 5, 8 and 9, 13 through 15. He's also done some variant covers for things like Crimson Reign. And of course, he is also going to be the primary artist for the Obi-Wan series that is being released on May 4th. So Ario is well known to those of you who are caught up on the newer work. Caleb, I think you pretty much I liked how you summed up his style here in your notes. So I'm going to turn this over to you and let you explain how you wrote this here.
Sure. I think the last time we did this, I tried to sum it up in one word. And this word, I'm using this with all the positive connotations possible, is emotional. His art conveying these great feelings through the works of like eyes and faces and body language. Not to say that his action or his details are lacking. They're fantastic. But I was just going through like the first 3 issues of the High Republic earlier today, just to get another refresher, put some fresh food on my plate here, and it's just like page after page of splash pages of like people reacting and emoting and like open mouths and eyes. Like there's a lot that he's conveying through his body language and through his characters. It's really solid work, and just to sort of thing that we want to see in the High Republic, a more open and emotional Jedi at their prime here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no better way to describe his art than emotional. And I know that he is a huge Star Wars fan, so I can only imagine that it's his own passion and emotion that he's putting in this, because it's, I mean, the emotion that he's able to put to pour out of that pours out of his characters is really amazing.
Yeah, I think like the sign of good artwork for me is when I'm able to become very attached to a character, like in the first issue I read. And in this case, it was actually two characters, Keeve and Skier. I love their style. Keeve is such a unique Jedi. Her lightsaber's unique, her outfit's unique, her like general style is super unique. And then obviously Skier, a Trandoshan Jedi. Like I was instantly attached to these two characters, and I think that that's a really hard thing to do with unique characters, not like movie characters that we've seen before, but completely original characters in the first issue of a comic. And I think he was able to do that very well. And I think you're right. That's because of the emotion he's able to draw.
I believe it was the last panel of issue 5.
I think
4 or
that-
5.
4. Yeah. I think
Was it 4? Okay. I thought it was 5 because I thought it was the end of the trade paperback as well. But you both know what I'm
no, it was
I'm
5.
talking
It's
about.
5.
The scene, the panel where Keeve is holding Skier, that I remember still to this day, and we're talking 6 months ago.
It is the end of 5.
The end, the last panel of issue 5. I remember to this day talking about the emotion from that page. It is just incredible, and to have that is what those sorts of panels is what gets me into reading weekly. It's like watching a weekly show on TV. You end on that panel, and your second thought is, oh my gosh, how awesome is this? The second thought is, I have to wait to get to know what happens next. That is a good storytelling, and that is what Ario has brought to the High Republic. Is you want to find out what happens next. You want to be able to go down to your local comic store and get the next issue, because you cannot wait to see what the story is what the story is going to be told next.
Yeah, when you were talking about, just when you only said the words Keeve holding Skier, I could see the image in my head. And I feel like that is so hard to do, especially like you said, that was a very long time ago, especially considering like how time feels like it's working
11
lately.
months.
11
months.
11 months.
May 12th,
Holy
2021. Over nearly a
mean,
year ago.
That speaks for itself. The fact that we could all understand what he's talking about by saying end of issue 5, Keeve holding Skier, and the fact that we can all see that in our heads. I don't think I could tell you like any other panel that does that for me, except unless we're counting covers and it's Mutant Aunt Moncala. But I
It's like, I think we've probably read like over, just with like new releases, we've probably read over 100 Star Wars comics in that time span.
Yeah,
I think
That's
yeah.
reasonable. Yeah,
that's fair.
Because every book is around issue 22-ish right now, right?
Plus all the IDW stuff, and plus the event stuff for War of the Bounty Hunters.
And then we went
all the
back
one-shots.
in time. And then we also did some Legends comics and
100 issues later, and that is still leaving that indelible of a mark on us.
Crazy.
And I think it's really and again, and not to jump past everything else that he's done, but you go right to the High Republic number 15, and the re-release that is coming out today has that image, and I think this is going to be, I'm predicting this now, this will be a lasting image of the High Republic, is that image of Avar in the middle of the swirl, with all the Jedi behind them. That is going to be a lasting image of the High Republic.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I mean, to me, Ario's drawn some of the most iconic images of the entire High Republic out of concept art, the IDW comics, out of anything really. Like the other one I really think of, and this was probably selected, but I have to mention it anyways. Like whenever I'm making a video about the High Republic, I always search for this image because it's that iconic to me. It's at the end of issue 1 when they're on Starlight Beacon.
Yep, with their lightsabers in the
they're all
air.
holding up
Oh,
their
yeah. Yep.
lightsabers.
Mhm.
That
The,
will always leave like a very strong impression on me. I always try to get it into as many videos as I can because it's beautiful.
It's crazy that like his art is still able to stand out when like the other artists that are most like involved with the High Republic are like Phil Noto and Ian McCaig and like I even Harvey Tolabat. Like there's so many like outstanding artists, but the fact that he's able to like establish his own style and come in here and have art that really like stands above all of that is pretty spectacular.
Especially for someone who doesn't have a huge back catalog compared to some other people who've been doing these for like 10, 20 years. He's really come onto the scene here and really, I don't want to say stolen the show, but he essentially has done that, you know?
I mean, he definitely is as important to the success of the High Republic as those first 5 original authors: Justina Ireland,
100% agree.
Claudia Gray, Kevin Scott,
Daniel Jose Older.
Daniel Jose Older, and Charles Soule.
So
Putting Ario's name alongside those 5 is absolutely a necessity when it comes to why the High Republic has been as successful as it is, because of his art and because of the success of this comic, because it really is going to leave its mark on the Star Wars franchise.
I agree. And art is always super important in comics. We talk about it a lot. I mean, we've done a ton of artist spotlights. So clearly it's important, but I feel like it's certainly more important in this case because we're talking about all original characters, an entirely original era. All Ario has to go on are some words, and he is who molds what we see when we think of Kiev, when we think of Skier, when we think of even Avar, even though we had a couple other images of her. I think of Ario's version of Avar way more than I think of Light of the Jedi Avar on the cover. And I think when you're talking about original characters, original era, he's so important in molding our image of these characters. Same thing with Harvey in for the IDW stuff, but I certainly think of many of Ario's characters that he's drawn when I think of the era as a whole.
I'm having like this thought exercise now that you're starting to talk about this, and I think that the High Republic comic art might have been like the most critical in establishing a part of the Star Wars universe, like for timelines wise and like style wise, like ever. Because like if you think about Legends, like all the post Return of the Jedi stuff, like with the exception of Legacy, like I kind of already had like, you know, it's still like Luke Skywalker heavy. Like I still have like an idea in my mind what that galaxy looks like at the time. And then like you can go on the other end of the spectrum. If you go the Old Republic, then that's been established in the video game and the other video game, and you have some comics, and like you have Tales of the Jedi, and like you have all these things that are kind of building this. But like this is the first time where I feel like it's, you know, out of nowhere, you have nothing else to base this off of. Like, you know, going in, we had like, here's some concept art, have fun with the comic, this, like, you know, try and envision this in your mind. And of course the writing of all the authors is great and helps, like, you know, you're able to picture a lot of that in your head, but this really kind of like sets it in stone for me and like really like makes that establishment so solid.
Exactly.
And oh, by the way, the fate of this, you know, of this entire era is basically on your shoulders. You know, no pressure whatsoever.
You know, a brand new project on your back is no mean feat. And just to add off a little bit of what Jacob here said, you know, when you read Dark Disciple and a couple other books that are set in that era around the Clone Wars, like it's very easy to see that. And when they do descriptions, like when I read that one, it was like a Clone Wars episode. Like I saw the like animation, I saw, you know, the character model of I almost said Avar Chris, but you know, of Asajj Ventress and Count Dooku. I didn't see Christopher Lee. I saw you saw
chiseled beard. Count
exactly.
Dooku.
Yes, that Count Dooku. That's who was in my mind when I read that book. And so when I was reading the other books in the High Republic, you know, Race to Crash Point Tower, or actually I haven't read that one, but you know, fallen star and etc.
Yeah.
Like I was seeing these images, like all the characters fit into this mold and this artwork that Ario Anindito has put out here.
Except
Yeah, and
Elzar
even
Man,
even if-
because he doesn't exist in art.
Yes, don't get me started on that. If anybody who is involved in the High Republic whatsoever, I ask a favor of you kindly, as someone that makes a lot of videos about the High Republic, please, pretty please, give us some Elzar Man art, please.
Hey, the
I
nice
don't
thing
want to keep using old man Elzar.
the nice thing is this won't be a problem for you for probably the next year and a half because we're not going to
That's
talk about him
true.
anymore.
Mhm.
That's true. I mean, I guess like a general plea of mine would be just like, let's have like 2 pieces of art for each like major character. That's what I want. But anyways, not to get up on my soapbox or anything like that. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. But anyways, yeah, just character art is good, and we like that not only for creators but also for people that just like to form the images in their mind. Like it's certainly not just me that wants more Elzar art. I mean, probably for a few reasons, but hey.
Mhm.
That's fine. Should we talk about art? Should we?
Yeah, let's actually show some
Yeah.
of that stuff. All right, I went through, as I said, like the first like three issues here and pulled out some key ones here. I might have a theme going here, but this one is from page 5. It's Skier jumping out at his Padawan Kiev during a training exercise. Again, kind of showing the very action-oriented sort of things. You really get a feel of like the weight that's about to come down on poor Kiev here. I like how you can kind of see like the soles of her boots there and kind of like a fun angle as you see the cloak flowing. It's just a really solid piece of art there.
This one was like, I think this issue got, because this is from issue 1, this got reprinted like 6 times, and this was one of the covers on the reprints.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes
Oh, wow.
sense.
I think this was, it might have been the first reprint, so like print number 2 was this one.
So for some reason, this looks really familiar, and I think it's because when Comixology was still its like old thing, right? Like
RIP.
for some reason it gave me a behind the scenes issue, which I still haven't read. I don't know why, but this was the cover of it, I'm like pretty sure. And so I recognize this image a lot because whenever I click on, the High Republic series, it always comes up with that behind the scenes of issue 1 first. And so this image sticks in my head a ton when I think about this comic.
Definitely. All right, so
All right, next up is, which one do we have next?
this
Oh,
one.
yes. The Kiev connecting to the swarm. That's always a fun one when you see like weird transitions and weird like panel breaks of like the neurons and the stars connecting here. And plus, funky colors are always great,
Mhm.
Yeah, the color scheme, as someone whose favorite color is purple, like as you can tell every week, I definitely love the color scheme of this. And honestly, just I don't know, there's something about this piece that's so interesting to me. Like I always love a good splash page, and there's so much going on in this one, but it's not enough to like overwhelm you. You see like Starlight, and then you see Kiev sort of having this like spiritual force moment, and then you kind of see her like back in like the physical realm or whatever. I think it's a very cool piece.
Yeah, and it's pretty hard. We're gonna, like, we talk about this a lot. It's very hard to separate the art from the color. Like obviously,
Yes.
he is not
That's very
doing he is
true.
not doing the color, but like
But
it
colorist was
it-
Mark Morales
Mhm.
for issues 1 through 5. So I believe a lot
Yes.
of these pulls that we've got tonight are from those first 5 issues. So we need to shout out Mark Morales.
Right,
as
yeah.
well.
Yes,
Yeah.
great job, Mark. It is. I have such a hard time talking about art without talking about
It's like-
color.
it's it's pretty important part of it.
Yeah, just a little bit.
One thing I really that stands out to me is because this is obviously not the only time he's drawn Starlight Beacon, but in this page, it's like almost has like this ethereal feel to it. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
a
can see
little
that.
less like a little less, I don't know, mechanical looking. So it's kind of cool to see that different interpretation in this weird, strange force vision that Kiev's having.
I love
I don't know if any
anytime-
of you guys did. Any of you guys play the Guardians of the Galaxy video game that came out recently?
I did.
It kind of gives me those vibes of like
I
that
can
reddish
see
planet.
that.
I don't know
can see
why,
that, yeah.
but that's what came to my mind. So if you know what I'm talking about, then you know. But it definitely gives me that vibe for sure.
I just like when we get a splash page like this, and anytime we can come out of the panels, and still have a story be told from in a winding way like this. I love when an artist and a penciler can do that, because you see the rigidness of the panels, and every time it comes and we have a page jump out of us like this, it's always a nice alternative. So it's always, I always like it when we see splash pages like this. That's still, you have the splash pages that tell that have one big spread and tells one story in the spread, and then you have splash pages like this where you're still weaving yourself through the page, and you're still technically going. There's what, 1, 2, there's like 6 panels on this page. You just, it's not your traditional panel. So anytime they can get creative, I enjoy seeing that.
You always know it's creative when Comixology has a really hard time tracking where a panel is.
Oh god, the
like
guided
in the
views.
guided view, yeah. it's like off center. It has no clue where the panel is. I always like that. It's like funny to me, but I think it's just a way more creative way to, build a panel.
All right, next.
Absolutely.
All right, we have some more art.
Oh yes, this one. This is the page that comes right after the knighting ceremony, so like the moment of Kiev's greatest achievement, and then we see Skier like having like a moment of great desperation as he falls down to his knees and screams. Again, this is another moment where I talk about emotion here. Like it's very emotional art. Like despite the fact that Skier is a Jedi Master, so normally very stoic, and a lizard person, like you can absolutely tell what's going on in his mind, in his face, through his eyes. Some really great physicality and emotion on display here.
And he looks unique. He doesn't look like Bosk. He doesn't look like any of the other Trandoshans that we've seen. Like he has a very unique look that you can obviously tell that he's a Trandoshan, but you can obviously tell that he's not Bosk. So I love
he's
that.
Stocky.
Yes, 100%. And he's got the shorter. Bosk kind of has more of a, I don't want to say a beak, but his snout is a little bit of more is longer.
Yeah.
Pronounced. That's probably a better word for it. Whereas Skier's kind of got more of a,
flat.
Doesn't.
Skier's the pug of the Trandoshan.
There you go.
Well,
there you go.
But let's not forget that episode of the Clone Wars with that Trandoshan that kidnapped R2D2. He was fat. Do you guys remember him? He was like playing the radio. Yeah.
The other Trandoshan I remember is from Bad Batch, and she looked like Bosk. I mean, obviously she wasn't, because her build was different. She was shorter. She was a little stockier, but she doesn't look like Skier. Doesn't look like those two. And I love the originality in his look.
I think Trandoshans are a very hard species to draw and make look good. Or I don't know. Words are hard right now. But I think two of the people that I've seen do it best are, and it's two very different interpretations of them, are Ario and then Paolo Villanelli. For his bounty hunter stuff, it's Bosk looks way different. It's very like a lot of his action is very fluid. It's he looks how about like monstrous? Like he definitely has a different vibe to him, but they're both different styles, but both pull off very well for something that I don't think is very easy to draw.
Absolutely. All right, moving on. I think the next art is from issue number 3. Oh yeah. And our Skier panel, Skier being kind of body checked by, I think that's Tarek throwing him. It takes a little bit of detail, but like Tarek looks terrified. Skier looks kind of thrown aghast, and then you also see Avar in the back, just kind of being equally confused as the reader when this is like the first panel, like you open up the page and like, oh, this is not good. Something is very wrong here.
Yeah, I love the emotion, and whether that's Sarah or Tarek's face.
It's Tarek.
It's Tarek. Okay.
Yes, I had to specifically look through.
Okay, good. The emotion in their face, I think just says it all, because I think it's really easy to make Sarah and Tarek kind of emotionless just based on their, I don't know, personalities, I guess, but Ario doesn't let that slip through the cracks, and I certainly appreciate that. They're written as though they don't have much personality, but
Mhm.
Ario gives them that extra boost in the facial expressions, which
Well-
I really like.
Plus, a little quick thing. I like how Skier essentially like frames the entire page here, like across the right side of the page and the lower
Yeah.
path. You
Noticed
see
that.
it's a cloak there, so it's kind of like a framing device.
It's like the meme. It's like I'm scared. You may have wondered how I got here.
Well, let me just rewind just a
It's
little
like,
bit.
All right. Next after this, we got a classic.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
A superhero
Yes.
landing, essentially.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I
Uh,
could
just
look at
w-
this all day. Love
This
it.
is Avar Chris bisecting a drink. You're literally like answering a cry for help, jumping through the earth. Just some really great actions. I love how you can. It's kind of like one of those like technical guide sort of things. What's
Oh,
on
it's
the
the-
inside of a drink
it's
here?
the cross sections book.
And the
Yes.
cutaway.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh. I'm
also
taking
love the
anatomy and
unique-
physiology next semester. Am I gonna have to
Yeah.
dissect a drain gear with a lightsaber?
That'd
That'd
be
be
s-
fun.
that'd be
That's like
pretty
the only
sick.
thing I would like. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
We're-
I mean,
we're-
I also love the use. I believe this is. I'm dating my. I think that's the onomatopoeia down the
Yes.
down
Yeah.
that's the correct language term. My literature and teachers would be proud of me for remembering that.
Mhm.
I love how it's used in this panel. To have it be centered where it is, but yet it's not. You can still see everything that is going on within the bisection of the drain gear. It's an amazing looking panel.
We got some nice rule of thirds here. You got the bisection down the middle and then AR on one side of it, and then kind of not a whole lot going on the other side, but yeah. I will say I think probably around a quarter of the images I pulled are Avar power poses. So let's just
We
prepare,
love to see it.
prepare yourself. There's
Exactly.
a lot to pick from.
Well, I mean, there's a reason that they call her the hero of Hetzel,
Mhm.
and
The Marshal.
It's earned. Yes.
Yep. All right. Moving on to this is another cool one. This was I think this was from
This was the history of the
Vision.
drain gear.
Yeah. This is similar to the one with the swarm vision thing. It's another unique panel lines using vines instead of just black lines. And we get the a Maxine station from Rise of Kylo Ren. We get some Sith. We get of course crazy drain gear stuff. We get the statue. I think those are the
dark
statues.
the
from,
dark side statues.
Into the Dark. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here.
You could definitely feel the horror vibes in that middle picture there, with the drain gear just pouring into and out of that poor soul's ears and nose and
it's
mouth, and it is just that dude's not having a good time, and you can
Mhm.
tell.
Like on a brief side note, they've said in interviews, I think Ario and Kevin both have, that they both really liked horror movies, so they bonded talking about Alien and things and other such horror-esque sort of things. So we see a lot of that here in the Drin Gear. Definitely an
all of
act of
that really-
passion here.
All of that really freaks me out, stuff coming out of ears and noses, and it makes me squirm, but at the same time I feel like it's if it makes me squirm, it was done well. So good job. But I don't want to look at it.
I know.
Good job. Please stop.
I know.
Yes, exactly.
This story group's Matt Martin is another giant horror movie fan. So I'm
That's
sure
right.
the three of them have
He's
the
the
most
editor?
exciting. He's I know I don't know his official title, but he's on Lucasfilm Story Group. Story consultant. I don't know. But yeah, I'm sure the three of them have the most exciting work teams chat or whatever, talking about all the old school horror movies.
Oh man, I mean, I'm so glad that they share that passion, but man, it freaks me out a little bit.
Definitely.
Uh,
All
All right. Something better now?
No, more horror.
Oh boy!
Oh,
Oh,
good,
It's just
good.
oh no! This
This
is a
is-
Sensing
dissection
a theme
scene.
here.
Yeah, this one I pulled from. This might be issue 5,
4 or 5.
4
Yeah.
or 5.
I'm so glad I didn't wear my glasses today.
It is a Drengier bursting out of a hut carcass while on Starlight Beacon.
Oh yeah.
yes.
That's such an
Yeah.
That
alien
sent a
move right
shiver up
there.
my spine.
Yeah, this is straight out of a horror movie. Yeah, I mean it's very visceral. I mean, yeah, it's again like Emma said perfectly. Yeah, it creeps us out, but that means he did a good job.
Oh,
Yeah.
also,
Justin in the chat says the Drangier are such a good horror story in Star Wars, and
It's
they really
true.
are. They
Yeah,
really are.
it's great to see these people love it. Also, Meyer thing, I don't think I ever really caught this, but hey, look, it's Finestra Row.
Yeah, Vernon. Yeah, no, you didn't
For-
you didn't catch when Emery gets stabbed through the back by a Drengier.
I mean, I think this
It's
I
heartbreaking.
read these ones like before I really read any of their
Okay,
novels.
that's
It's
fair.
just like, oh look, these this like I think I saw her in a couple of covers somewhere.
yeah.
So
Oh, don't do my girl like that. She's my favorite
And
Jedi.
she's not.
Orbelin.
I like
Oh,
Orbelin.
yeah.
I love Orbelin. It's like, oh hey, look, something is bursting out of a meat sack. Like Orbelin is very familiar with that. You know, he.
Oh,
All right, what's next now? Before I make
Let's
a
see.
bigger fool.
I will say, like, I don't know where the like. Obviously, I assume most of our listeners / readers have seen these comics already. We will spoil. Like, I do have spoiler stuff for later, so kind of like keep track in your mind of where we are. And if I get to issue 9, this is all in issue order. So if I get to issue 9 and you haven't read past that, you might want to stop. Just a heads up.
I was wondering how deep into the woods
Oh,
we get.
the end.
We
yeah.
pulled all of this before. I mean,
Yeah, so this is issue 6. This like we can't, of course, we could not talk about
oh my
it
gosh, look how
without Avar
epic
writing
this
a
page is.
Rancor.
oh,
Like,
God bless
yeah.
Ario Anindito. Can I just say that? Like,
I mean, we have
God bless
Huts,
him.
Jedi riding Rancors and just Rancors all on one page.
Yeah.
That's
I
that's
mean-
that's awesome.
this is a blessed image. Okay, we saw Avar riding a Rancor before we saw Boba Fett riding a Rancor.
this is true.
we
she
just
did it first.
Picture that in
Yeah.
our minds for a second. It is a blessed image.
Both in the real world and in the timeline. Avar did it first.
That's very true.
So-
very true.
Avar, the hero of Rancor. She taught Danny Trejo everything he will know.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so shouts out to what is it? Courtship of Princess Leia, as I
I
think.
think so. I
Courtship
think
of
that's one.
Princess Leia is
Sounds right.
where they go to Dathomir, and there's a lot of Rancor riding in that.
Also,
in that book.
Force Unleashed, I think, or Force Unleashed 2 had like Shock T riding a Rancor or something like that.
It was one, yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Shock T. I mean, my
Justin in the
goodness.
chat also wants us to take note of the Rancor's face and how detailed and well
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
that is designed.
That's one emotional Rancor.
That is an angry Rancor.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that they were angry, but dang. But also, like, it's interesting how similar this drawn Rancor looks to like the live action Rancor
Mhm.
in Return of the Jedi and Book of Boba Fett. Like, they look very similar in the way that their face is shaped and the wrinkles. Like, I could imagine that Ario probably spent a long time studying the Rancor just to get it right, and he definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So next up, it's hard to move on from this, but next up we have. Oh, okay, we skipped a lot of issues ahead. Sorry. This is like
Oh,
issue.
shit.
This is like
what the hell?
we skipped like 3 issues from 6 to 9. So I'm sorry. Well, okay, this is some wild stuff. We get into Leveler. And the Leveler does some crazy
Hey.
things to people's vision. This is Keeve looking at
The
one of
Shrike
one of the
That's
twins.
right. I'm like, I don't remember this.
with
What is this?
She's like,
I didn't remember this either.
This-
It's like
this is
yeah,
the
well, I
first
saw
time
it-
they see it when she's like undercover. The Leveler comes out and she's like
Oh,
looking
that's
at
right,
Sarah
that's
or
right.
Terra, and like everything's messed up.
it
So,
almost
we're about
it's like from a
issue
completely
8-9-ish in it right now.
Yep.
almost looks like a completely different series. I was like, wait, is that a vampire? What are we looking at?
Well, you know what? You know what's really interesting? The same like color scheme for the
Yeah, I
Leveler
remember talking
is
about
carried
that.
out. I know I'm talking about color here, but like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
worth mentioning that that the same color scheme is carried throughout like Trail of Shadows and
Mhm.
this. I think that's really neat.
yeah.
If we are talking, hang on one moment. We're talking. Oh no, Mark. If this is issue 8-9, we're still talking about Mark Morales. Carl Story did the inker for issue 6 and 7, but I think this is later than that.
Gotcha. Yeah. So then, after this is pretty wild. After this, another hero
Oh my
pose
God.
from
Power
Avar.
pose.
Yeah, as she comes to save the day. When is? Can't remember what they were doing here. I think
this one day we're attacking the Lorna D's ship. I think
you might be right. Yeah. So
I use
leading
this
the
this picture in videos a lot. It's so cool.
Yeah. How can you not? I mean,
Exactly. It's so good. I don't even know what there is to say about this. It's just
I'm
it's
right
badass.
now. I'm just admiring the art right now. So
Yeah.
don't mind me.
And it's cool to like see the Nile storm cloud like pushed,
Mm-hmm.
away to like form a circle around all of the Jedi. I think that's very neat.
it's interesting seeing this one and compare. I think it was issue 6. There's like another one where she's like barging into on that like farming planet. She's like barging into like the door to like confront like the like corrupt like mayor or whatever, and it like very similar to this, but she's definitely changed a lot as a person in that time period.
This is Avar's bad girl
She is
era.
She's going down a path at this point.
Yes.
one that Elzar cannot follow. But
I see what you did there.
anyways. More crazy leveler stuff is
Oh yeah.
Now this I remember.
How can you not? This is some more like insane horror movie, messed up,
bad trip sort of thing.
Mimic mirage kind of like. It's interesting. It's like the side of this creature kind of looks like it's made of wood almost. Like I don't know. It's got mouths on its stomach. It looks like it's pretty messed up.
That's disgusting.
It's one of those things. The longer you look at it, the more you don't want to look at it.
Yeah, I'd really love to know what horror movie was the inspiration for this.
It's like there should be like a tiny piece of writing like at the in like one of the corners, like so small that you have to zoom in like 500 times, right? And in it says this was inspired by
the Hellraiser.
Name a horror movie. I don't watch horror movies, so I don't know.
Like the Hellraiser ones, I don't know.
That's usually
a Stephen King movie, which is something that Maine is pretty much only famous for.
True, that is true.
Blueberries.
Usually Wikipedia is helpful for this. Like they'll like a lot. It depends. It's not always there, but like a lot of times there'll be like a section on, I forget what they call it, that kind of like talks about like Easter eggs and references and stuff like that. So. But yeah, and then like again mentioning color, stepping away for a second, we see that repeating color scheme with the earlier issues and
kind of the purple and
purplish
blue swirlish
and
the tie dye.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of get some like Dathomir vibes from this because the Dathomir witches kind of have some like, or at least Mother Talzin did, kind of had some like smoke coming out her mouth.
I can see that.
Like,
yeah.
Like, and especially with this hue of green, it can only
the green
make
smoke.
me think of that, and like the green eyes and stuff. Like when like in Rebel, spoilers for Rebels if you haven't seen it yet, but I mean it's but
it's like 5 years old.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when like Sabine and Ezra were like taken over, like their bodies were taken over by I don't know, some sort of spirit on Dathomir. Like their eyes turned green like that, and it definitely reminded me of that.
Yeah. All right. So next we have. Yeah. I think.
Hey, look, A for Power Pose
iconic.
version 7.
Yeah.
Also, is that a sliver of Elzar? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. On the up on her shoulder below buckets of blood is Elzar.
Her left. Yeah.
Thank you, Ario, for doing your part.
That was actually someone confirmed that on Twitter today because this is the second printing cover that came out today, and technically, kind of technically, this might be his first cover appearance. Like someone DM'd him and he did confirm that it's supposed to be Elzar. However, one of the reprints of the first issue had the giant power pose of all the Jedi with their lightsabers in the air, and he has also confirmed that one of the Jedi in that pose is Elzar. So if you count his face being this big, that is his first cover appearance.
Should I add that in my next High Republic?
Yeah, just like zoom in. It's like 5 pixels. It's like
I crop out only the 5 pixels
and
make people try to search for it.
Yeah. It's like Elzar Man in Minecraft.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's
You know,
like,
it's funny because like that doesn't show up on Google Images when I search like Elzar Man. Although I don't think this was out last time I did, or when I did the Fallen Star video when I was really needing those Elzar pictures.
yeah, no.
I don't think that image like showed up. But also, you know, anyways, it's hard to crop that out. Enough of my woes though. Like we just love the representation.
So,
here.
so when are we going to re-upload this with all the red X's through all the characters who didn't make it through the issue?
Oh Lord.
I wouldn't want
Well, some
to,
some of them are
tarnish this piece.
Are
yeah.
non-confirmed.
Yes.
Non-confirmed.
There are,
It's
let's see,
true.
1, 2. Okay, that one
Well,
definitely
there's
dies.
definitely one.
spoilers.
There's definitely one who is
Yeah.
no, definitely two.
Definitely 2.
And then there's at least two more
That's
that
right.
are MIA right now.
Now
Okay.
I'm getting worried because I'm suddenly forgetting what happened to my girl Vern.
We don't know.
She's not okay. I
Was
gonna
she
say,
even
like,
on the?
I
don't think
was
she
not.
was-
I
I
did
don't think
not.
she was at the
She
station.
was yes, she as of the end of Mission to Disaster, she was absolutely on Starlight Beacon. We just don't know what
okay,
happened
that's
after
what
that.
I thought. Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. That is scary to me. For some reason I like suddenly forgot like everything I knew about all the Jedi and their fates, and I got very scared.
It would
Yeah.
just be. It would be really, really great to just know the creative process behind this panel, because this is
Yeah.
this is just a really great panel.
It kind of reminds me of like, I mean, I know that Avar like you know, envisions the Force as like song and stuff, but for some reason this reminds me of like a reflection in water, and
Oh,
there's,
like a
drop of
ripple, yeah, like a
water.
ripple.
Yeah,
I was
Yeah,
thinking
like
that
a
exact
ripple,
same
yeah,
thing.
yeah. I love it.
It's,
I can see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it is.
The blue motif definitely helps too.
Right. Yeah, that's probably what's driving my memory there.
All right.
Right.
Do we have any more spoilers in the?
I'm double checking.
So this was from episode from issue 15.
So this is the last comment.
This is like the
panel.
ultimate spoiler.
Yeah, this is the last panel, but we do have a cover to talk about. So he did. I believe he also had a few like one-off variants in the High Republic.
He did, I think.
There's like one
Trail
with a skier
Shadows,
holding a lightsaber. But the one we're going to talk about right now is his. It's not all out yet, but his connecting cover for Crimson Reign.
I do have the
Ooh.
first 3 of these.
Yes,
So
so
good.
it's so cool. We got Vader on the first one, and then Palpatine, and then a TIE
TIE
fighter who is leading a legion of TIE defenders, and then Ren, and then of course Kira. Definitely,
I guess we know who that pilot is.
Is
now,
it
right?
Yeah, I was
Valence?
gonna
Is that
say.
Valence?
I thought
That's who I'm thinking.
I need to
it is.
reread it. I don't know. Like
if you zoom in on that and the markings are blue, then I think
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had a hard time tracking what's going on in Vader and Bounty Hunters for a while now, to
Same.
be honest.
Well, I feel like I
Wow.
have to wait until the arc is done, then go back and reread
I'm
it.
I'm pretty
True.
sure it's Valance.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean,
Yeah,
he's had
I
like
won't
a
bet
the way that
against
he
that.
draw,
Yeah.
the way that he draws, well, specifically Kira, because most other people have helmets on. Specifically Kira is very good. Like it's really giving me those Amelia Clark vibes. It's hard to draw like famous people, I think, in a like, flattering light, and I think he does it quite well.
Yeah, capturing the likeness is very, very difficult. I think was it Steve McNiven, I think in War of the Bounty Hunters did it pretty well.
Yeah.
But when you know exactly what they look like, and it's just awful, the slightest amount, your mind kind of messes with you. So like,
Oh, exactly.
That uncanny valley is a tripping hazard.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's I got connecting covers for War of the Bounty Hunters. I wanted to do for this one, but I just didn't get around to it. But yeah, Tyler's got that. Tyler's going for that set. So
Yep, I've
Hopefully
got I've got
solid.
the first 3. I've got the next 2 already ordered from my local comic store. So yeah, I will show those off once they're all in.
yeah, but so it's wild because we're not seeing any. High Republic has been done for about a month now, so we haven't got any art from him in a while. But we have on the horizon Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes.
5
The
issues.
king.
5
Return of the
issues of
King.
the everyone's favorite character, penciled by Ario Anindito, starting on May the 4th. I mean, can we ask for any more? You
I
could
will
ask for a TV.
Charles to be on the round table.
Okay, we
That
can
is
do
what I
that.
will say.
I was like, you can ask for a TV show, but we're getting that too. We're getting
Yes.
It really is,
We're getting Hayden
brotherhood.
back.
So will he? I was
Yeah.
gonna say, will he be drawing Darth Vader then?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
Probably. I think that's a safe guess.
It'll be
Okay.
fun
It
to
is
see how he
the
does.
Kenobi Renaissance, and Ario is playing a big part of that.
he'll draw Qui-Gon. He'll draw probably Vader. He'll draw Kenobi.
Possibly Luke. Some,
Anakin,
some version
yeah.
of Luke.
Yoda.
He's
Don't forget
gonna
Yoda.
be able to do all the hits.
Yes.
Yeah, Star Wars Greatest Hits, Jedi Edition.
Well, Ario has left an indelible mark so far on our universe, and we can't wait to see what comes next, because we are very excited for the Obi-Wan comic.
Yeah, crossing our fingers that
Absolutely.
he'll be back for phase 2, High Republic
yes,
comic.
please.
Yes.
I know. I am. That is the one thing. Like, I don't really have too many expectations for what's coming next, other than I know I'm gonna love whatever Justina Ireland and Claudia Gray do next, because they're my absolute favorites. But my other real hope is that Ario comes back. Otherwise, I'm just kind of gonna go with the flow on this one. I just love all the High Republic stuff, so it's not too hard to please me there. But certainly, it would be a great treat for Ario to be back.
Yeah, one thing is true. When High Republic Phase 2 rolls around, I'm once again going to be spending way too much money on Star Wars content, but it's fine.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. And we like it that way.
That won't be in until October, right?
Correct.
Yes. Well, October, but there's like a few small things I think that are coming out August, September, like or are supposed to. They still haven't been officially announced, but there are release dates for like the High Republic Fiction Collection is like in August, and then you have like the or I guess these were officially announced, like the art books. There's like 2 art books that are coming out around that
Right.
time as well. So, but
yeah, I mean, Jacob and I we have like a release schedule channel in our Slack so that we can
it's
help
just
the database team keep track, and it's
just
absolutely wild.
It's just Emma every week being like, "Hey, Amazon emailed me saying that my comic book pre-orders were pushed back a week."
Yeah, and then I have like 6 bullet points.
Yeah,
like this one, and it's just I mean, as Jacob and I know very well, and also Trev and Frank, who have to actually update our site. No, it is not even just comics, but books. It's a very wild ride. It's a roller coaster every week. What's going to be delayed this time?
oh yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting, but hopefully we're still on track for a nice October launch there for the High Republic, because I'm already missing it, and it hasn't even been that long.
One thing, there's one thing that's up in the air that I have no, we haven't, I don't think I've talked about this on the show, is Edge of Balance Volume 3. Like
that's right.
what, because like at the end of Volume 2, which like is like in definitively in Wave 3, they're like, oh yeah, Volume 3 is coming out. I'm like, when? What is it?
Oh, that's right.
Is it now? Is it 150 years ago? What is going on? Who is writing it? Like,
my issue 2, I just checked my Amazon orders. I think it comes.
It's like late March or
next
May.
month?
Sorry, late May.
Yeah, I would say I think it comes next month.
Yeah, it's out digitally, but it physically.
Yeah,
like,
I haven't read it. I haven't read it
launches,
digitally.
Like,
I'm
May 26th or something like that.
I thought it was much better than the first one, and
Oh, yeah.
also like
that's what people keep saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I pre-ordered the signed
pulling-
version from DJO's local bookstore, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be interesting to see what happens with that.
But anyways,
All right. Before we wrap up the show this week, Emma, do you want to give our listeners a little insight into what we are doing next week, and then what the rest of our sister shows are doing?
Yeah, I'd love to. So, I'd love to, but I can't. Meaning that we have a little surprise for you guys next week that we're very excited about.
We definitely encourage you to tune in live.
Yes, definitely tune in live. I won't say much about it other than that we're extremely proud of it, very happy with it, and super stoked to share it with you guys. This is like, I think it, like, if our anniversary show was next week, I would say that this was my favorite moment of the entire show, like no doubt, hands down.
Okay.
So
I could see that.
yeah, absolutely. So really excited to share that with you guys. Definitely tune in live for that. And then tomorrow, I gotta scroll down here. Tomorrow on Legends Look Back is the Han Solo trilogy part 2. So definitely tune into that. And then Monday on the Living Force is a potential surprise, but probably another draft. And we love to see it. It's gonna be a Lego draft. So definitely tune in there. And make sure to vote. Vote for your favorite teams.
Wait, is
we gotta
Corey doing
see-
the Lego draft? Is Eric still in the chat? Because I thought Corey didn't want to do these drafts.
I assume Eric. I assume Corey is doing the draft. And if so, we need to see if he keeps up his winning streak.
Because I definitely volunteered to be a part of this draft, but
I did as well.
Heard nothing of it.
I essentially told Eric, I said, if Corey really hates drafts, who really loves drafts? I do.
Besides our community loves drafts.
That's very true as well. I mean, Corey, are you listening? Are you listening? But also, if you don't want to do it, that's also fine. Like, but anyways, it'll be a lot of fun. That all of us really love drafts. And speaking of that, I got to think of another draft for us to do. That was a lot of fun. So that got my wheels turning.
I was about to say, if this keeps up, we'll have our own UTini draft podcast.
You see,
project.
I got last in the last draft we did, so I don't know if we should do another one, to be honest.
Oh, come on.
Okay, fine. We'll do it while you're halfway across the country.
That
okay?
works.
Yeah. We got plenty of time to
get your drafts out during the summer.
There you go.
Exactly. I mean, you probably have reasoning similar to Corey's. Like he wants, he doesn't want to do it.
Hold on. Speaking of drafts, didn't you win the fantasy football league?
Oh yeah, well that's
But that
that's math.
doesn't have as much to do with draft as everything else.
There's a draft for that,
no,
right?
I won it based on my draft of Jonathan Taylor last year in like the 4th round.
Didn't that come in second though?
And then being a keeper league. I think so. Yeah, right.
I think I did.
I think the three of us
we're top 4. I think
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know
we are
all three of us
mathematically awesome at drafts.
I know all three of us made the playoffs, and I don't remember if it was 4 or 6 teams made the playoffs. But yeah, I think Jacob's right that we finished. I think I finished 4th, Emma finished 3rd, and Jacob won.
Something like that. Anyway, I know I got first. That's what matters. All right. Anyways.
All right. Well, I think that is going to do it for this week's episode of The Cosmic Force. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show right here on YouTube, where you can hear us live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We also encourage you to subscribe to our audio version on whatever podcast platform you listen to. You can also follow us on Twitter and tweet at the show at Cosmic Force Show to stay informed about Star Wars comics happenings, or follow the hosts individually. I'm at Ty Rags. Emma is at Irma Jedi 26. Caleb is at Caleb Lamanek, and Jacob is at Jacob Bosch. For reviews, articles, and news for the rest of the expanded universe, be sure to visit utini.com. We also encourage you to join our UTini Discord community by going to utini.com/discord. And you can also help support the show by heading to patreon.com/utini and start receiving exclusive perks starting at just $5 a month. A special thank you to OK Endar, Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander on our Jedi High Council, as well as Matt Bellington, Elizabeth Cloutier, Freddie C, and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command for their amazing support. Thanks again to Emma, Caleb, and Jacob for hosting with me tonight. Special thank you to those of you that joined us in the chat. And as also another special thank you to those of us listening to us wherever and whenever you are. We truly appreciate you. We hope to see everybody next week live. Remember, live for our special surprise show. But until then, may the Force be with you.